Uh, all right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Life According to Tats's podcast. I'm joined here with Christos.
Hey, Paulie, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you, mate. Hope you're well. Today,
Um,
we're going through the English Premier League, and we're going to go through what we think and try to come to an agreement of where we think that teams fall within the league based off of current form. So this is heading into the Christmas break of the 2023-2024 season. And yeah, we'll just go through team by team of what we see here. We'll adjust as we go, as we know that teams have to be in different sections and we can't stack, one section too much. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Let's go, Christos. You ready to go, mate?
yeah, that's good. I'm pumped.
Fantastic, mate. Glad to have you here. All right, Wolverhampton Wanderers. So it's been an all right season for them so far. I think they've done pretty well. Pedro Neto went down with an injury after having a stellar start of the season, but we've seen the rest of the team step up. Huang Hee-chan has been pretty good as well, mate. Where do you think they fall? Let's go to you, mate.
Oh, thanks for passing it over, mate. I'm happy to start. Look, for me, Wolverhampton are a good team, really solid team, but they're middle of the pack,
Yep.
and I think it's enough to say that I'd put them at mid-table, 8 to 12.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'm afraid of the Molineux, mate. I think they have a great home field, and yeah, big fan of Huang Hee-chan, shades of Xun Min Son. So yeah, shout out to Huang Hee if you're watching this. Keep it up, mate.
Well said, mate. I think that if it was a few years ago, I would have almost said that they're top seven team, honestly. I think that they had a pretty good team a few years ago, but I'm
Oh,
almost thinking bottom half eventually, but I'm willing to stick them in mid-table for now.
yeah, yeah, I think so.
Okay. Sheffield United, I don't think much needs to be said here, mate. I think the team sucks. Ollie McAburney is an all right striker. Ryan Brewster was the weirdest signing. He's unfortunately not developed at all. And I mean, mate, the greats, Ollie Norwood, John Fleck, they're just not there anymore.
Yeah, you've taken the words out of my mouth, mate. I'm looking forward to them dropping back down so they can show their class again and get promoted. But as it is at the moment, as much love as I have for Sheffield, they've been very underwhelming. So sticking at
Very
the
happy.
bottom.
Manchester City. Now, this is a big one because I think this kind of we'll talk. It'll be discussion in champions and Champions League qualification. Do we want to leave Manchester City for the end and we work out what who we think the champions are?
I think so. That'll be exciting.
Okay. Let's go Brentford. Brentford, look, I'll start us off here. I really like Brentford. I think they're a great team. Even without Ivan Toney, they've been incredible. They really challenged Aston Villa, who are currently on fire. I think even with Tony back as well, they could get even better. So I'm willing mid-table. I'd say that I was almost tempted to say Europa League qualification, but I think that's pushing it a bit. Mid-table, definitely. I wouldn't put them any lower.
Yeah, definitely no lower, mate. I'll be honest. I think Brentford's a great club. They play some beautiful football. I don't think there's any match that you can count them out of. Any team they're playing against, I think they got a good shout. So, look,
Agreed.
honestly, I would put them a bit higher than mid-table,
Yeah,
but I have no arguments with them being there. Mate, very happy with that.
I like it. Let's work as we go and see if they're up to change.
Yeah.
Burnley now. Burnley, I know you have a soft spot for. I know Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes used to be your players. Sean Dyche as well now moved to Everton, but did a lot with that team. Talk to me, Christos. I'll let you say what you think here about Burnley.
Yeah, mate. Look, it's a tough one. I have a lot of love for Burnley. Yeah, back in the glory days, they've still got a few players like Jay Rodriguez, Charlie Taylor, who still make the rounds, and get a bit of playtime. But yeah, back then, Jack Cork leading the line, Tarkowski, me, and Pope at the back. I really love that team, love their football, love Sean Dyche. Now they've done a complete 180 since then, a completely different team. I followed them in the championship last season as well. They were fantastic. A lot of love to Manuel Benson. Shout out Manuel, played really well. But yeah, look, now in the Premier League, I just feel like they've lost that spark. And for me, they're in the relegation zone. I just haven't seen it. I don't see the Burnley mentality. Vincent Company has shades of bold fraudness. So yeah, for me, mate, I've fallen out of love with the way they play. I still love Burnley,
Yep.
but they're just not doing it for me at the moment.
So are we saying relegation or bottom half? You do think bottom half?
For me, relegation team.
Relegation? Okay, we'll stick them in there for now. And I do agree. I think that, you obviously nailed everything on the head there. And you're obviously a much bigger Burnley supporter than I've ever been. So I'm willing to put them in relegation now. Yeah. Now, Liverpool, let's leave them for a bit for suspicion's sake till the end. Bournemouth. Now, I'm a big fan of Bournemouth. I think that Antoine Semenyo, Marcus Tavernier, I think that Dominic Solanke, I think they just developed something at that club that's fantastic. Obviously, I love Philip Billing as well. I mean, he's just like a midfield version of Tyrone Mings, so I think he's awesome. I'll go mid-table as well. And honestly, one day they might sneak even higher, but I think mid-table is a fair shout for them at this point in time. What do you think?
Mate, I'm completely on board with that. And a name which you've feigned to mention is Lewis Cook. I think really underrated midfielder. He's been absolute class, man. Absolute class.
Considering he had a severe injury a while ago, I think that he's really picked it up recently. I do think that's a good shout right there. Yeah.
Exactly right. And if I recall correctly, I think in one of your old FIFA career modes, you used Lewis Cook.
I did, yes.
Is that right?
Yes. I was a big fan of Lewis Cook back in the day as well. Like I said, his injury made me kind of just forget about him a bit, but he's definitely announcing himself on the scene again.
Yeah. So for me, Bournemouth, happy for them to be mid-table. Patrick Kluivert as well, excellent player. So
fantastic. They really got something building there, especially with that front line. West Ham United. Now, well, I'll let you start off.
Ooh. Well, look, it's tough, mate. I love that they won the UEFA Europa Conference League last season. Exceptional. I think they've had a great run of form so far this season in terms of their strike force. You know, Jared Bowen's absolute class. I always love a bit of Thomas Suchek.
Yep.
Bit of Thomas Force never goes wrong. But yeah, I just think it's time for a bit of a change with West Ham. You know, I think the Hammers are stagnating a little bit, and they don't have that same, fearful identity that they used to. And
Yep.
I think it's worn off. I don't know why. Maybe because Antonio's form's dropped off a bit as well. But yeah, for me, West Ham, I'd put mid-table or even bottom half. Not really enjoying their football this season.
Mate, I'm glad you've actually mentioned that because I'm willing to put them in bottom half as well. I think that on paper, and I think we might even eat our words one day because I think Mohamed Kudus is the type of guy where he can say, screw all of you, I'm taking this team to the top half. I think he's got that ability, and we've actually seen it in the past few weeks. Between him, Jared Bowen, Lucas Paqueta, James Ward-Prowse, Thomas Suchek, if they kept Rice, I mean, even excluding Rice though, that team on paper is fantastic. But they're just there's just a bit of that spark lacking, which I think Kudus brings. But they're just not consistent enough at this point in time. And I'm willing to say mid-table. I'm not even against it. But for right now, where we are with this tier list, I'm going to stick them in the bottom half for now. I just want to have them there. Yeah.
Yeah, no argument with that. Look, we're making this video today, and I'd say today they're in the bottom half. Who knows what could happen next few months?
Agreed.
Love Ward-Prowse. A lot of potential there, but right now it's not clicking.
Agreed. On to Fulham, a team that's seen some massive victories over the last few weeks and then a big thrashing as well in the last weekend. Christos, talk to me about Fulham and what you think about them. They've obviously got an all right team on paper, and honestly, they're a pretty bad team compared to most teams on paper. But do you think that they're overperforming right now, underperforming? Where do you have them?
Look, I'd say neither. I'd say they're getting their expected results. I know that they've made the semi-final of the Carabao Cup with a solid win over Everton this morning.
Yep.
I'm going to be real. I'm not a big fan of Fulham. I think that they lack an identity as a team. I don't find them entertaining to watch. You know, I don't know who's tuning in to watch Fulham. So yeah, for me, I'm putting them bottom half just because. Yeah, I find no interest in them. Like, who wants to watch Alex Iwobi be the main man for a team? And Willian, I thought Willian retired like 5 years ago from Chelsea. So yeah,
he's still playing well as well. But I see what you're saying. I think that once Mitrovic left, I think they just lost a lot of spark. And I think them getting an injured, concussed Raul Jimenez in their team to save their day, I think that's just a bit of a reach. But I think that once Mitro left, they lost a bit of that team. But then again, they're playing well. I mean Robertson at left back. I think he's been pretty good this season. They've still got Tim Ream at centre back captaining. Don't know how that's even happening, and they're winning games. But again, they're finding a way to stay in the league, which I find incredible. Bottom half is a fair shout for me.
Yeah, I will say as well, two names. One is Zambo Anguissa. Not sure where he's at, but he played for Fulham once, and he was a great class player. And the other name is Todd Kearney. He's got wonderful left peg.
Todd Kenny's fantastic. Agree there, mate. Brighton and Hove Albion. Now, I think that when we keep moving teams around at the end here, I think they might jump 2 boxes, even drop 2 boxes. I don't even know. I think they're a type of team where we have to see others go ahead first. But Brighton, for now, to be safe, I think 8 to 12 is fair. I think that because they've been in the Europa League, I think it's been pretty tough for them, especially with squad depth. I love their team. I love Joao Pedro, Evan Ferguson. Don't get me started on Simon Adingra. I think Adingra is great. Pascal Gross has been incredible, mate. There's names I'm already missing, but they're a great team on paper. That's my opinion on them. I'm willing to put mid-table for now. What do you think?
I got a lot of love for Brighton. I think they play a beautiful game of football. And, I had to watch them dismantle Ajax Athens twice
Yep.
in UEFA Europa League. Even though Ajax won one of those matches, I think Brighton's just a fantastic footballing club. Yeah, love the way they play, love their system. For me, I'm putting them in the 5-6-7 framework.
Interesting.
Yeah, love them.
Are you willing to keep them in 8 to 12 for now? Or would you like to put them in 5, 6, 7 for now and work from there?
I reckon let's put them in 5-6-7 for now, and then we can
Yep.
drop them as needed.
Okay, I'm willing to discuss later on, but I think that they will eventually drop down, but we'll see. Aston Villa FC. So for myself and yourself, the team that we both go for, it's obviously been a fantastic season for both of us. After Grealish left the club, wasn't sure, how to feel, but mate, Unai Emery, yeah, wow. Talk to me on what you think about Aston Villa right now. Being a fan of them, what that joy has brought, with you, and just tell me where you think they fit in on the ladder.
Yeah, of course, mate. I mean, it's been a long journey. I started following Aston Villa when Christian Benteke and Antonio Luna scored the winners over Arsenal in 2013 at London Stadium, against Arsenal. So it's been a long road. They've been really bad for a long time. We saw them get relegated. We saw Grealish keep them up by the skin of their teeth, and we saw a deflected Andre Yarmolenko left peg top in shot nearly derail the dream. So yeah, from there to where we are now, look, yeah, I'll just say it's never been as exciting to watch Aston Villa since Jack Grealish. And I also just want to say, shout out to Dean Smith. Dean, if you're watching this, got a lot of love for you, a lot of time, mate. If you want to jump on the podcast, you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of love for Dean Smith, a lot of love for Aston Villa. I'm putting them in the Champions League qualification position.
I think that if you look at the ladder right now, they are definitely there. That's a factual statement. Mate, I think that they could honestly be the champions by the end of it, but I also think they could be in the Europa League area too. So I'm willing to leave them in that Champions League qualification area for now and work as we go.
Yeah, agreed.
Beautiful. Let's move in to Tottenham Hotspur.
Oh,
So talk to me, being Australian and all and seeing Ange Postecoglou go over there and, giving his fantastic press conferences, mate. What do you think about Tottenham Hotspur and where they should be on the ladder here?
mate, I think you should talk to me because I think one of your old football coaches was a big fan of Tottenham. So I know you got a few notes on them and a bit of knowledge about them. So you tell me, where are you putting them?
Well, Tottenham Hotspur, mate, I think they're just a fantastic club this season. Now, they've always been all right, but we obviously know they're a bit of a laughing stock of the league in terms of silverware. Look, I love Heung-min Son. I think Richarlison as a football player sucks, but I just like him. I like him. I think he's a cool guy. I love how he's very emotional on the field. Kulusevski's fantastic. Madison's fantastic, and I think their backline's incredible. I think fully healthy. I honestly believe that Tottenham could be a top 3 team. Fully healthy. I truly do mean that. I think that because of injuries this year, I think we will see them finish around that 6 or 7 mark. So I think that's going to unfortunately derail them a bit. But I love their style. I love their win or go home attitude that Andrew's brought. I think that the 6 to 7 is fair for them this year. I think they're going to lock in between that.
That's really interesting, mate. And I think it's very fair. I think you've done them justice with that description. And look, I'm a bit biased because I love their style of play. It's a lot similar to Aston Villa's. But for me, I'm going to put them in Champions League qualification. I think the picks of Pedro Porro, fantastic. Dejan Kulusevski, Heung-min Son. Yeah, I think they've got an excellent team. They all look like they're going to die for each other out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think they've got the potential to turn it around. I know they've had a bit of a rough, run of form recently, but mate, full faith in Big Ange. He's one of our own. And yeah, a lot of love to you, Ange. Keep it going, mate. You're doing well.
Look, I'm willing to move them in there for now, but be aware that Champions League qualification in Champions can only have about 4 to 5 teams within it. We've got Villa, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham. So there's a few names to be mentioned in there, but we'll come back to it afterwards. Just a heads up. All right, Manchester United. I think that they are an all right team. No, not a fan of them at all. I think they suck. I like Erik ten Hag, but I just think he sucks as a coach anyway now. I think once they lost Ronaldo, I think they use him as a scapegoat for their losses, but they just suck. Marcus Rashford's terrible. Anthony's terrible. Jadon Sancho can't play football. Anthony Martial hasn't been good for 10 years. They're a terrible team, and Scott McTominay is the only good player on their team. Harry Maguire is all right too. Yeah, look, I just, if I'm being completely honest, look, I mean, I think I'm being funny right now, but mate, I think mid table, I think that 8 is fair, but I reckon I'll find a way to finish in 7 or 6. But I'd like to leave them in that relegation area for now. But you tell me what you think, mate.
Well, look, the only thing I like about Manchester United is seeing them lose. So I think you can leave them where they are. It's fine with me.
Fantastic, man. I'm glad we can agree. Chelsea, Chelsea, mate. A team with a lot of new talent, a team that spent over $1 billion from Todd Bowley's
Mm,
account. Where do you think they're at in terms of their situation, their potential over the next 10 years, and where do you think they fall in this list?
look, I'm a bit worried for Chelsea. I won't lie. If I was to talk to Todd Bowley, I'd ask him, why did you do this? Because I don't think it's a good plan. So I don't know what his reasoning is. But look, I think Mikhailo Mudrik's really underrated, and I think he's going to continue showing the world what he's capable of. As we saw this morning, he scored a last minute goal to tie the match, and then scored his penalty to win the game in the Carabao Cup quarterfinal.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that was against Newcastle United as well, who's a decent team. Not too bad themselves.
Yeah.
So look, yeah, I got a lot of love for Chelsea, a lot of love for Mudryk. I think they're a great team, a lot of potential. I'm putting them mid-table.
I'm willing to leave them in mid-table for now as well. I think that I felt like from the start of the season that they were always going to lose one, but they'll bounce back, and then lose another one, but they'll bounce back. They just haven't found a way to bounce back yet.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I hope that they do finish in that top 7 mark because I like them as a team and I want to see them do well considering they spent over $1 billion. But mid table is where they're at. It's just the facts, and unfortunately I can't let my feelings override that. So I'm gonna
yeah,
leave them in a mid table area for now as well. We can progress from there.
yeah.
Let's go
Well,
Nottingham Forest. They just sacked their coach. So
yeah,
they'll
well,
be they actually appointed Nuno Espirito Santos, a former coach of Wolverhampton Wanderers. That's been confirmed. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there and if he converts that team to a full Portuguese team. But in terms of Nottingham Forest, what do you see from them? They've obviously made a lot of signings over the last couple of years. I think a fair place will just be. I think that they're at the top of that bottom half area. But what do you see, mate? What do you see?
look, it's a tough one with Nottingham. I want to know first, what were your thoughts on the firing of Steve Cooper? Because I think that's a big moment in the history of the Premier League.
I think it's disappointing, honestly. I think that when I think of Nottingham Forest, I think about his head on the sideline. I think that the team resembles his play style. Obviously, I mean he is the coach, but the identity is him. Now that he's gone and Nuno's in, I don't know what the identity is. I feel like I feel like if Taylor Awani stays injured as well, I feel like if he's not playing much, it just feels weird. It really just does feel weird. I don't really know the direction of that team. They're obviously fighting to just stay up, which is why they're making all these mid signings, but. I don't know if Nuno is the way to fix that. But again, I hope they prove me wrong. I like them as a club. I think bottom half's fair for them at this point in time.
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. I got a lot of love for Nottingham. I think they're a solid footballing team. I love Chris Wood as well. Shout out Chris Wood. Taiwo Awoniyi is great. The goalkeeper's great. The American guy. I think it's
Yeah.
Matt Turner.
They've also got
He's
Vlaco Dimos, the Greek, on the bench as well. So big fan of
yeah.
that.
Podemos
Um,
is good. Yeah.
Crystal Palace, talk to me a bit about them. I've actually had a bit of an experience with Jeffrey Schlupp myself. Met him in real life. Great guy. And obviously he's playing well for them too. It's nice to see him succeed. What do you think about Schlupp and what do you think about what he's doing with Crystal Palace?
Oh, jeez. I mean, when I think of Crystal Palace, Jeffrey Schlupp is the first name that comes up in my mind. I also really think of Jordan Ayew. Great player, ex Aston Villa star, my villains. So a lot of love for Jordan Ayew as well. And there's something about Crystal Palace and something about Roy Hodgson, that really ticks me the right way. So I got a lot of love and a lot of time for Crystal Palace. I love watching the games at Selhurst Park.
Yeah.
I love they took a point off Man City. So for me, I'm putting them in the mid-table area.
Yeah, I'm happy to put them in mid-table as well. Like you said about Roy Hodgson, I think his little smirk at Pep Guardiola after they drew that penalty and scored it recently to tie the game. I think that smirks it at all. It just shows his class in the league, his veteranship and just how much he brings to that team. So we can leave him in mid-table for now. We'll obviously need to adjust as we go, but I like them as a team. Newcastle United. This is an interesting one considering the amount of talent we have at the top. What do you think, mate? What do you think about Newcastle United?
Look, I'm going to be honest. I don't like Newcastle at all.
Right.
But I think they're a great team. I think they got a great team. I think they got a great coach. I think they don't play the game the right way. I think they're especially Bruno Guimaraes. He made an interesting challenge on Ian Martin this morning, and I got a lot of love for Ian Martin. So that didn't make me happy, but you can't deny that they're a good team. You can't deny that they've been bought by Saudi Arabians and they have a lot of money to invest, and you can't deny that that's why they're now good. So yeah, shout out to Saudi Arabia and oil, and I'm putting them in the UEL/UCL qualification.
Yeah, I'm willing to agree there. I think at the start of the season, and you can almost call it delusion, but I really did see them as a team fighting for the for the actual championship. I think that on paper, their team's just incredible. It's so well rounded. Like Gordon's a fantastic attacker. I could go through the whole team: Isaac, Almiron, Guimaraes, Joel Linton. His conversion into a midfielder. I think that their whole team and
I
go
mean,
to the backline as well. They're just great on paper, and they're a team you hate to verse, but somehow they'll lose to great teams. Like I mean, sometimes they'll get smacked around. So they're weird. They really are very on and off. I think the moment they find consistency, maybe a couple more signings, Sandro Tonali, obviously, when he's properly back into the team,
yeah, yeah,
I think
great.
that they're just such a good team on paper. And again, yeah, they're just a team that will continue to be good because of the money that's being invested into it. But UAL is a good tier for them right now.
Yep, lock that in.
Arsenal, I think that's a team who we can put into the Champions era potentially. So let's skip them for now as well. Let's go to Luton Town Football Club. I'm just gonna. I don't like Manchester United, so I think Luton Town might be the worst team. But let's put them next to Manchester United. Do you have much to say about them? I don't really have a lot to say. I mean, Carlton Morris is an alright striker. The rest of the team's pretty mid. They're just not there. They shouldn't be in the league.
Well, look, I mean, I followed Luton quite closely in the EFL Championship last year, and I followed the way they made it into the playoffs and how they squeaked their way out of that the playoff final actually on penalties.
Yep.
So yeah, I got a lot of time for Luton Town. I don't think they've performed very well, but that's nothing against Luton. Small club, small fan base.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, just small is a great way to describe them. But they've got some great players. Gabe Osho at the back is exceptional. They've got a few midfielders that are class as well. I forgot their names now. Just some like dudes that do skills with dreadlocks, which good. Yeah, but yeah, I'm putting them in the relegation zone, but it's all love from me for Luton.
Yep. I think that just to mention with them, and again, like you said before, I don't want to seem too harsh on them. The fact that they've made a leap into the Premier League is the biggest thing for their club, quite possibly in their history, because they can now get those funds to really go back down and boost their team from there. But I don't know if his name's I think it's Mpanzu, the centre mid. He's been with their team since Football League 3, and he's come all the way up or Football League 2, sorry, and come all the way up with them. So it's been a really cool story for him playing in the Premier League and starting with them from back then. So yeah, again, Luton, it's a team that I like, but they're just not of that quality yet, unfortunately. They're definitely on Manchester United's quality, but not of anyone else's. So yeah. Everton. Now, I'm gonna be real. Disregarding the point deduction, I like them there.
Yep.
Disregarding point deduction, this team is awesome. Sean Dyche is awesome. Mate, Dwight McNeil has turned back into like prime Jack Grealish or something on that wing. I think that the team's just incredible. I absolutely love them. And I mean, the results speak for it as of recent as well. I think that if they didn't have the point deduction, they'd be in 8th spot or something like that. So it's not that far off, and they might drop in a second when we upgrade the rankings. But right now, that edge of that 7-8 mark, I really like them there.
Yeah, no controversy there from me, mate. I'm totally on board with that. I love the build up of their squad. Love Sean Dyche. The old gravelly man has a soft place in my heart. So yeah, no controversy. Keep them where they are.
Beautiful. All right. Well, look, we've got the last 3 teams here. Let's just pop them in at once, I guess. Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, they're all obviously going to fit into the top 2 tiers and we can merge from there. Who do you have as champion? And let's just put the other 2 below.
My champion, I got to say, the world against Jurgen Klopp. It's Liverpool FC. You will never walk alone.
Yep. Okay. I do look. I will beg to differ for now. I think Arsenal, as of yet, has had a good year. But look, Arsenal's weird because I feel like if they choke it, it's anyone's to win, which could be Liverpool, could be City when they find form. But look, I can understand Liverpool. I think they have more class, they have more experience. I'm happy to pop them in there for now, actually. But I just think that Arsenal is the better team right now. But they find a way to choke it, is all I'm saying. So yeah. City, Arsenal, 2nd and 3rd. What do you have? What do you reckon if we can put it roughly in order? I'll just make a rough guide of what we think the order is. I like this for top 4 actually right now.
Yeah, I like the top 4 too.
Yep.
I don't know. Do you think Arsenal above City?
I think that Arsenal, as they're currently leading the league right now, I think it's fair to keep them there because there's no reason for them to lose games. They beat the crap teams. They compete against the good teams. I think that it's fair to keep them there. I just look, putting City in third is quite stupid because they're probably going to win the league somehow. Unfortunately, that's just the way it works. But I feel bad putting Arsenal at third when they're coming first right now, and it's as a result of earning the results. I think it's really tough to call that top three. I mean, but I'm happy to leave City in third right now and just hope that they continue to play crap.
Yeah, that's very fair, mate. I think it's a toss up between that top three. Anything can happen. The script writers haven't yet revealed what's going to happen at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And as they say, it's not over till the fat lady sings. But when the fat lady does sing, yeah, you can't go wrong with Mo Salah as your triple captain and as your main pick. So,
That's it.
yeah, go with Mo Salah, go with Jurgen Klopp. It's Liverpool versus the world, and they won't let you walk alone. And as someone that studied a bit of psychology, I think connection is really important and community is really important. So, yeah, Liverpool, if you're hearing this, go and get the league, boys. You got this.
Well said, mate. 5, 6, 7 can only consist of 3 teams. I'm happy to do Tottenham, Newcastle, and Brighton. Now, I think it's a bit awkward because then teams like Everton and, let's be honest, Manchester United, unfortunately, I think that creates a big problem in that middle half. What do you think of 5, 6, 7?
Yeah, I'm very happy with 5, 6, 7.
Yep.
Obviously, you can never know these things for sure, but yeah, as it stands now, there's no controversy from me.
Fantastic. Okay, I think mid-table 8 to 12. I feel like, unfortunately, I feel like Man U results-wise will be up there. Again, look, just disagree with me. I'm just making a case for it to move some teams around. I feel like something like that might be a bit more accurate. Everton, I'm not sure how they'll go with the point deduction and all that, but look, I feel like that might look a little bit more accurate, something like that.
Yeah, that looks good to me. I think Chelsea somewhere. Look, Brentford could be on top of Chelsea, I think. I hope Chelsea find their feet. Everton could be a bit higher as well. I might put Everton above Manchester United as the top team there. But look, I'm quite happy with how it looks. And I think, let's just wait and see.
I think disregarding the point deduction, that it's fair to put Everton up there. I'm just taking into account that they've lost those points because I think it's really hard. That's like 3 wins they've lost. So I think it's fair just to keep them there for now. But are you saying, do you reckon that to 12 is currently okay?
Yeah.
Would you want to replace the Wolves with anyone from the list below?
No, I think that's solid.
Okay, beautiful. 13 to 17, just to wrap it up. Bournemouth's good. West. I like the list as it is. And I think the only thing I'll probably change from the entire bottom half, I'll probably put Sheffield right at the bottom. That's about it, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. Sheffield's been in a terrible run of form. I can see Luton snagging a few draws here and there.
Yeah.
Look, Burnley may find their feet as the season goes on, but there's no teams in the bottom half that I can see really choking their way into the relegation zone. So yeah, for me, this looks pretty good. I'm excited to see how it goes, mate.
Yeah, no, I like the list. I think that the Liverpool, Arsenal, City toss-up is big, but I think maybe a bit of bias leads into it. But I like Liverpool. I think that their style on any given day can get them those points. And look, let's hope Aston Villa wins it. Let's hope Aston Villa gets that championship this year. But yeah, Arsenal finds a way to choke it. I think it's unfair to put City there because of their current performances. Liverpool's a team that's up there and is consistent, so it makes it fair. But yeah, it's a nice little tier list, mate. Thank you for coming on to have a look at this. Tell you what, mate. Well, if you could give me who do you think will be the biggest overachiever this season and biggest underachiever based off of what's happening so far?
Look, overachiever has to be Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Was definitely not expecting them to be that high, and I really hope the boys keep it going. Ollie Watkins keeps banging in those goals, and the villains keep laughing all their way to the top. So overachieve, definitely Aston Villa. Underachieve, I'm going to go ahead and say Chelsea FC. I think the North London lads have had an absolute stinker this season, and it always amuses me to see them drop points. So I hope they continue to underachieve.
Yep. No, I agree, mate. I think I definitely Aston Villa for overachieving. I also think that you could probably mention Everton too. I think that, again, the point deduction will look bad on the ladder, but I think that they've somehow turned themselves from relegation candidates to just a top team you fear now. But yeah, between United and Chelsea are the underachievers. Yeah, yeah, United suck. So yeah.
They all suck. Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, look, Christos, thank you again. This is a great episode, mate, and appreciate your insight as always. Being a psychologist yourself, it's nice to have a bit of insight into all these teams and
Cool.
and the ladder. But we appreciate it, mate. Thank you again for this episode.
Yeah, the pleasure's mine. I really look forward to the next one. I look forward to seeing how the season pans out, and I look forward to the comments. All the fans and viewers. Let us know. Do you agree or disagree with these picks? Do you think that I'm more correct, or do you think Pauli is more on top of where the teams are going to land? Let us know below.
Fantastic, mate. Well, thank you again for this episode. Viewers, we hope you enjoyed it. And again, yes, drop down below what you think. But yeah, mate, we'll see you all in the next one. Thanks, Christos.
Let's do it. See you guys.
See ya.